Well, obviously,
Okay.
sorry, I mean,
You don't have to be.
I mean, this is normal sebenarnya, but is it okay? I mean,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You ready?
yep.
Okay, so we shall just start with I think we'll just skip to question number 2, which is the background of Bosch. So how did it start operations here?
So Bosch Rexroth in Malaysia started its operations in 1978. So actually last year, it was our 40th anniversary. So yeah, so I think it started with hydraulics, because Rexroth was quite commonly known for their hydraulics expertise in the industry. So it was actually in the year 2000, between 2000 and 2001, Bosch acquired Rexroth, in this case, which now we are calling them as Bosch Rexroth. So yeah.
So that means previously it was a company on its own.
Previously it was Rexroth on its own,
Okay.
before the year 2000. So in 2000 is Bosch Rexroth, because of our expertise in hydraulics.
Can I have a list of clients? Is that PNC or just maybe the top 3? If it's PNC,
I
then
think it's PNC, yes.
PNC,
PNC. But I can say our clients are quite kind of a wide base, from different industries. I can say like different industries. Like for example, yeah, like our major customers, like until now, it will be coming from the oil and gas industry, and also from the palm oil industry. So those kind of two are our biggest kind of customers where they are coming from.
Can I say the top 3 is oil and gas, palm oil, and automotive?
Yes, I mean, okay, if in terms of Bosch, yes, automotive. Because automotive is actually quite the biggest chunk of the whole organization of Bosch and Bosch Rexroth. So yeah.
So how do you think Industry 4.0 has impacted the manufacturing sector?
Well, I believe, of course, we are at still an early stage, for a new revolution or evolution to kind of mature. But I think it has already starting to, give an impact to the manufacturing, because it's supposedly Industry 4.0 and IoT is to improve on the manufacturing conditions, to improve on processes, to improve on cost, and with like what everyone's saying, like big data and so on. So big data is kind of the goal. Data now is the new goal, where data coming from machines, from processes, these are used in softwares, like analytics, where companies or like Bosch is doing analysis on software to determine whether a process or the production or manufacturing, how they could improve that process much further. So with this Industry 4.0, I think will probably certainly have a big impact, in the manufacturing industry. And I think there's quite a big potential in that sense.
Okay, so based on your answer previously, how is Bosch actually adapting the Industry 4.0 related technologies and solutions?
Adapting in terms of in our own organization, or kind of how?
Yeah, in your own
in our organization. Yes, of course, such a new trend, such a new kind of new technology coming in. Of course, there will be certain time where we have to be, like well educated, have to be well trained, and well exposed with this new information. So of course I think our general manager Michelle has taken the right approach on this, and like looking into the right training, the right exposure for our employees, to do as much as promotion, on these hot topics. I can say like hot topics in the industry, and of course not just focusing on our customers or potential customers, but also to educate our own staff to make sure that they are also aligned with the company's mission and so on. So we are taking steps, perhaps in like small steps, introducing some topics like what is IoT, where is IoT in this case can be seen in the industry, because a lot of, let's say, other colleagues who are perhaps not directly involved with IoT and Industry 4.0, and we gave them somehow a glimpse of what we're doing outside. Let's say in a marketing sense, of course, we have been out there promoting this topic, what Bosch has been doing, but also we want to convey this message to our own people, saying that yes, we have this big possibility of how the future will change in the future, how manufacturing industry or whatever industry will kind of follow this trend. So we do a bit of education for our own staff in this case.
So when you say you do a bit of education, what kind of approach do you do?
It could be like like a kind of blended environment. Some we could of course expose through the marketing activities that we have done, attending or participating in exhibitions and conferences, like for example MARii Auto Show. Some also we had in terms of giving them like classroom sitting. We show them in this case what we have. Let's say for example, some colleague who might be responsible for some certain areas of expertise, and then during for example, a town hall meeting where we gather all of our employees, and then we share this information. So indirectly, of course, some people who are not directly related, so they also get some kind of exposure on this, and so we try to like rotate this from different departments or different kind of expertise, to show them that how we are progressing in this topic. So there are also other platforms, like last week we had an HR info day, for example, internally.
HR info day.
Yeah. Okay. It's HR info day. So we had that internally whereby HR informed the employees what are the training that they could look into. They could online. For example, Bosch and Bosch Rexroth has an online platform learning.
Nice.
Of course, in this case internally, and so also for external customers, on multiple topics. It could be technology-based learning, like IoT, sensors, hydraulics, automation, and so on. Also, apart from that, other trainings that maybe they would be interested in, like language or accountings or management topics. So everyone is kind of
like they know what is happening in each division.
So we are promoting this to them, so they don't just have to do kind of their daily activities. They can also, apart in their own time, they can also go into these trainings that they could update their skills, or if they have an interest in other subjects other than what they're doing. So we are promoting that as well to our own staff. So it's good that we have those kind of online platform whereby you can access all these materials and medias, because we have it like in like call it a Bosch tube. So it's a YouTube actually for Bosch, technologies. So we a lot of entities from Bosch share the information inside that platform, and they could just view it, learn something new, So it makes it interesting for them and easier for them to access, rather than yes, you have to attend a classroom training or someone will nominate you to go for a certain training. Then they will have their own personal space, their own computer, accessing the internet, accessing the e-learning platform, and they could access it anytime.
Can you just explain a bit more about this e-learning platform, because it's quite interesting?
Yeah, so I think a lot of companies out there are also having a similar approach, right? To make learning more interesting and more accessible. So this e-learning platform contains basically the courses or topics which are contributed by the experts around the world, because Bosch in this case has like maybe more than 200 years of experience. So we have a lot of expertise worldwide, not just in Malaysia. So these experts can contribute their knowledge and experience, by converting it to a learning platform or some learning modules which anyone in Bosch can access. So apart from that is that like apart from classroom training, we have these videos, we have these articles, we have these notes that they can also look into, to make it more interesting, to make it not really like text based, classroom based, which is sometimes could go a bit boring. So I think by this platform we have all the videos and content there. So, and also we have the forum inside, whereby if for example I would have a question on something that maybe Germany will have more expertise on, so in this forum you could like share your problems, your issues, or your achievements that you have done, your success stories. And of course these experts from Germany, of course, in this case directly responds to that kind of questions or issues concerning. So we are, even though we are far away, we have like more than 280 plants worldwide. So it's like a close family when we have this platform where everyone can share their inputs in one source. And the interesting part is that from my end, from the Drive and Control Academy, we also have such a platform where our customers who are kind of really wanting to find out about hydraulics, automation, electrical drive, and so on, so they can use this platform to also have their own training by themselves. So we had a practical kind of sense where we have face-to-face training, where we are involving them a lot on hands-on training. Apart from that, they can also take their time to really learn a certain topic by themselves before they go into this classroom training, where we also involve a lot of practical and hands-on. So we try to combine, we blend all this together, and by having this platform really makes it a bit more easy, yes, accessible, and of course.
So this e-learning platform, you told earlier that it's open to both external parties and internal parties.
Of course, for internal it's free, but for our customers, yes, we also have this guest account where they can just take a look, have a glimpse of what's in our learning platform.
But of course, if external parties want to use, they will have to pay a certain fee.
Yeah, because you might not know what, in this case, you want to go into. Might be someone, maybe it might be a lecturer from a university who are interested in hydraulics, and then yes, okay, we can share this link to them. They will have a kind of an introduction of what it is inside. They can look at some materials. We have ebooks, animations, and so on. So they can take a look, and if they are interested, furthermore, then of course we can engage directly with them to see what are their kind of requirements. So we kind of can discuss this directly with them.
So how does Bosch or Rexroth ensure and maintain employees' understanding and their undertaking of Industry 4.0 technologies?
I think like I mentioned earlier, our GM had the initiative to conduct quarterly sessions of town hall meeting. I think that's also one of the platform. We can also provide updates and share certain information, certain activities that we have done. So that's one part that we can somehow provide our employees to update on certain matters.
More? Any examples? Like for example, your own training.
Yes. So e-learning, because e-learning in this case is developed constantly, with new topics and new modules and so on. We also encourage them to take the time to go into the e-learning platform if they're interested, not just in Rexroth or Bosch technologies. They will go into other topics like management, accounting, and so on if they're interested in that. And so we do encourage them. So it is through this town hall meeting that we provide this information to them. So so sometimes of course they might not have the time to really sit down and go into this platform. So this is where we have that to kind of remind them what is available and how they can access it, and rest of all, because it's free for internal employees. So I think of course it takes quite some time to adjust and also for them to familiarize, but we do take this kind of small steps for them. At least we provide them with the tools, we provide them with the information, and in the end of course it's up to them to have that initiative to learn something new. But that is, we are actively promoting that, because it might be that 10 years ago these technologies were quite conventional, right? And training would be a bit conducive. It would be, you have to go to certain parties for training, but now it's ever changing. Internet is a powerful tool, and even you can learn something, get new updates directly from social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on. So we use the platform to really educate not just our own, but also like for outside, for the public as well.
How about your practical trainings? A bit more elaboration on that, on that approach.
Practical trainings, in our sense, of course, involve a lot of hands-on. For example, we have for example here we have the hydraulics training system. So students or workers in general, who are involved in hydraulics, so they could learn a lot of things when they're doing hands-on. Because I believe that for training to be more effective, you cannot just rely on face-to-face training, looking at notes, textbooks, and so on. You need to also engage them directly. You need to engage with the students, with the participants directly. So by having practical training, hydraulics, mechatronics, automation, Industry 4.0, IoT, and so on, we involve them directly. How, in this case, to connect a certain part of a machine, how to use sensors in the field, because more or less our training systems are really industrial standard. So that's a major thing, because we're not basically creating something just as a training kit, but most of the components, most of the systems here are actually what we are using in the industry as well. So I think that will directly benefit the participants, because whatever that they are touching, they're using in the practical training. And if, for example, students who are going to their work, or existing workforce going for this training, so immediately they will see that this is exactly what I'm using in the industry. So we really cut down on that, how they adjust from training to actual work. So I think this is where a really key important of our equipment coming from Rexroth, because they are all industrial standards.
So I think from your experience, how can SMEs begin to adopt Industry 4.0 elements, for example, automation, hydraulics? It's just your own point of view.
I think this topic is quite interesting because I was into this kind of SME environment, SMEs around the world, and how big SMEs actually plays a big part in our own kind of Malaysian GDP and how it's contributing to our economy industry. So I think the easiest part, of course, is to kind of ask yourself, ask the company, what is the hurdle, what is the issue that you are actually dealing with. For example, if you have too much of a breakdown, or cost is really a big issue, and how you can minimize that from a certain aspect, like for example maintenance, for example like operating costs. So the easiest, I think, is in this case if companies or SMEs can adopt IoT gateways and sensors into their machines. So in Bosch, we really, in this case, believe that it is not so difficult to adopt, Industry 4.0 and IoT in current or existing organization. It's using the right tools, the right technology. Doesn't mean that you have to spend so much money, in this case, to be able to become, Industry 4.0 or IoT. So I think the government is also doing a lot of, is contributing a lot to this topic. For example, of course, MARii is doing a lot of awareness program. They're promoting industry forward readiness assessment program, right? So these are actually the tools, in this case, for any SMEs out there to start their journey. Like for example, I attended a seminar by MARii last 2 weeks ago or last week on how SME can adopt to the Industry 4.0. So by going to this industry forward readiness assessment is actually the first step that they need to do in order to analyze, which part of their organization, it could be people, it could be manpower, it could be processes, it could be cost, and this readiness assessment will definitely help them to really pinpoint, which area that they can improve. So by having this readiness assessment report, and this is where they can channel through different types of funding, how they can request for certain funding, for example, to do upskilling or reskilling of their own staff, and also investing in IoT and sensors products. For example, Rexroth has the IoT gateway and sensors, which in this case, the most important part is it doesn't disrupt the existing processes, because I think that's the main idea. So IoT gateway and sensors, in this case, will definitely help them to move a step further, going into digitalization, going into monitoring of their existing systems and process. It's through this small kind of technological upgrade, I can say, makes them step further. Because in the end, I think maybe in the future, maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, software will be kind of spearheading this. Because right now, companies are developing a lot of software analytics, for the data which are coming from processes and machine and so on. So these data will be analyzed by the software, and which in the end will assist. In this case, it doesn't provide the solution. It will assist the decision makers, in this case, either to improve on certain aspects of their organization. So I think first step will be the readiness assessment. In this case, the report will help to get the funding or necessarily or training or upskilling. And in this case, IoT gateway and sensors is basically the fastest way and the most cost-effective way to start their journey for Industry 4.0 and IoT. Yeah, so that is from my perspective in this case.
Okay, so When you said when you what in order to adapt to all these new technologies, it doesn't mean spending so much of money. Why do you say that?
Because a lot of misunderstanding or perception out there is that SMEs or big industries, they would think that they need to invest into a new machine, into a really sophisticated high-end machine in order to become Industry 4.0. So I think for us in Bosch Rexroth, that is somehow a myth, because in this case, our expertise in Bosch Rexroth is that we have done quite a big number of pilot projects internally, like for example, we have done a lot of pilot projects, in this case integrating IoT gateway and sensors to our old machines, because we have quite a big number of manufacturing plants around the world. So we integrate our solutions. In this case, this is where our dual strategy from Bosch and Bosch Rexroth plays a big part. Dual strategy means that we are the leading provider of the solutions, for example, like sensors, IoT, automation, automotive, and so on. And we are also the leading user of our own solutions. So that means we have tried and tested our own solutions to make sure that it really meets the demands of the market. So that's why in this case, not necessarily an organization have to spend buying a new machine which is state of the art, with the latest functionality and so on. They could also pinpoint exactly in the organization where they can start, which has the weakest point, and this is where they can integrate, simple solutions like IoT gateway, sensors, RFID, and so on, and really, take a step further into the, because of course a new revolution takes time, and this is where it's really good that we have a lot of awareness program out there. But of course you need to get, you need to see the right people, you need to have the right partner, the right organization to work with, and this is where for us in Bosch and Bosch Rexroth, we really want to show this, that we have the expertise, we have the knowledge, we have the experience from our industries, from our plants, and we want to use this kind of somehow to really educate the industry, what is the right process, what is the right tools that they need. So I think for us in Bosch Rexroth, we are really proud of that, because we provide the solutions which are cost effective and really industry driven. So I think it's really good that for any SMEs out there to start with something small and focus on which that they can improve in the industry.
So going back to your practical trainings, so they involve a lot of hands-on training on your hydraulics, system, mechatronics, automation,
right,
and a few more examples.
Because Bosch and Bosch Rexroth has quite a diverse portfolio of technologies. From my side, from the Drive and Control Academy, of course we focus a lot on what drive and control is the Bosch Rexroth is offering. So it could be from hydraulics to mechatronics, to electrical drive, to inverters, to controllers, and so on. So from my end, we focus a lot on the industrial technology which is coming from Bosch Rexroth. But since the availability of the e-learning platform, this is where I think is quite interesting, because a lot of other Bosch subsidiaries, like from automotive, from power tools, they could also come and join their experience, come and join their knowledge, and we ourselves from Bosch Rexroth also have the ability to learn about other technologies. So Bosch and Bosch Rexroth together, in this case, we contribute a lot of topics, not just for e-learning but also for practical training. Someone could also be attending training in power tools, perhaps, if they would like to have certain expertise. For example, like universities will have workshops, SMEs will have workshops, so they could also have this kind of training for them how to use a certain product of Bosch and Bosch Rexroth. So for us, from the kind of the German learning perspective, of course we focus a lot on practical, because I think we believe that hands-on skills in this case would equip certain student or certain worker, how they can progress in their career or skills. So by having a lot of hands-on training, then they were able to feel exactly what they're doing. And because for us, whatever there is in the industry is exactly what we use it in the training environment, so that makes it really easy for them to adapt. So for us, that's kind of our big advantage in this case.
So means it's safe to say that the equipment you have here are also used in your own manufacturing lines?
That means the equipment, the parts, the components are also used in the industry worldwide. And also because I think another point is that we are also introducing the certification program. We are calling it the License Training Center program. So whereby we are working with universities or TVET institutions, how they could, in this case, work with Bosch and Bosch Rexroth to train their students or to train or upskill and reskill the workforce on certain technologies coming from Bosch and Bosch Rexroth. So I think this is quite an interesting program whereby Bosch and Bosch Rexroth is opening this kind of opportunity for education industry to collaborate directly with us. So by having this certification program, for example, if we have a certain standardized training, like for example mechatronics, Industry 4.0, IoT and so on, these training institutions, they could also conduct these trainings on behalf of Bosch and Bosch Rexroth. So what the benefits are actually for the education industry is that they can also promote their institution to a much broader scale, not just locally in Malaysia, also internationally. So because for us, a big multinational company, so we are involved with everywhere around the world. So by having this kind of recognition to the local universities, local education, it also gives them a platform where they can also expand. And also apart from that, they could also conduct trainings to the existing workforce, so this gives them also the ability to get some returns from that by offering courses which are in this case certified by Bosch. So I think by having that, Bosch is a big brand in this case in the market. So by having this certification program, we are in this case working side by side with the education institution, so to market them more in this case, and to give them more in this case we can say like exposure, because we are open to work with the education, and we want to push out the technologies, knowledge and our experience to the industry. So I think it's a really good opportunity for the education industry to work with a big industry like Bosch and to promote further. And of course, for us, we really focus on bridging the gap between university and academy. So hence, of course, we have the Drive and Control Academy. So by having this certification, it really they are really directly exposed to what is new in the market, what is new, like the trend, like Industry 4.0 and IoT. Those are really bringing them closer to the industry. So I think that's a big part because of the unemployment issues around the world. this certification means that students or the workers are somehow endorsed by Bosch as well. So when, in this case, employers out there, industries and businesses and so on, when they see this certification coming from Bosch and Bosch Rexroth, so immediately they will see oh, you guys are trained by Bosch and Bosch Rexroth. So that means in a way your skills level are at a certain level, high level. So I think this promotes or markets these students to get better jobs or better salaries and so on. Of course.
I think it's safe to say that it opens higher job.
Yeah, in this case,
opportunities
to reduce the unemployment issues, so we provide this kind of a lot of this program to really bridge between industry and academy.
So this certification program is like, so you will be having it here.
So the LTC program, License Training Center program.
So it's
License Training Center, LTC.
Licensed Training Center.
Yeah. So it's LTC program. Basically, of course, there are certain criteria for that. That means we are willing to work with a certain university or TVET. In this case, they have certain requirements where, for example, if they would like to train students or do upskilling or reskilling on Industry 4.0, for example, the machine back here. So they need to have to meet certain requirements. For example, the equipment, and also we will have the trainer training in Germany for 2 weeks. So these lecturers or teachers coming from the university, they are trained by our German trainers in Germany. That means they are also trained on the latest technology, on the latest teaching methods, on the latest training platforms like e-learning and so on and so on. So when they have met certain requirements from us, so they are basically authorized to conduct trainings on behalf of Bosch and Bosch Rexroth, and they are also able to issue certificates with a dual logo. Like for example, we have a certain university and also Bosch Rexroth combined in one certificate, so they can use this somehow to market the trainings, or provide extra certification for their own students. We give them more opportunity in the market. When they are applying for jobs, they could also get participants from the industries who are in this case, I would like to understand about IoT or sensors and so on. So they could go to these universities and they could train by the trainers which are trained by us in Germany, and then in the end they would get the certificate. In this case, focusing a lot on practical and also focusing on their competency. So rather than a normal, attending classroom training, we really focus on getting that quality, for all these participants, for all the trainees. So that is our main focus.
Yep, I think that's it. Yep. It's really more than enough to
More than enough.
Yeah. I think I can break this down into 2 parts. Yeah, but I think this license thing is really interesting.
Yeah, LC for me, I think it's quite interesting. Actually,
but it's not launched yet.
Actually, in this case, just to share with you, there are already a few institutions in Malaysia which are already LTC.
Can that be included, or is it?
Yeah, sure. For example, in the northern region, we have KISMEC. 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 It stands for Kedah Industrial Skills Management Development Center.
Okay.
So since last year, they have in this case acquired the equipment and also attended the training in Germany. So now they are basically our first LTC for Industry 4.0 mechatronics in Malaysia. Yeah, first. So,
Mechatronics.
Yeah, Industry 4.0 mechatronics. So what they're doing now is actually very interesting, and they are quite really on a fast pace. they're doing, of course, trainings in mechatronics, on automation, and also Industry 4.0. They're also doing trainings to upskill and reskill the workforce in IoT, gateway, and sensors. So, yeah, they're gaining a lot of attention, and I think for us, we are proud to have such a partner to work with. In this case, we are really sharing our experience and knowledge with them, and so in this case, they would be able to conduct these trainings to their own students, their the industry, because in this case, it's quite really important for a training provider to be able to provide these trainings to the industry. And because of Industry 4.0 and IoT is quite new, and they are actually quite spearheading this. So yeah, I think for me and a lot of for us in Rexroth, we are really proud of that. So Kismet is actually one of our success stories.
Is there any more other than Kismet?
So in Central Region, actually we have one private college. We call it MIT Academy. MIT is actually stands for Malaysia Institute of Technology Academy. Okay. So this is actually based in Kota Kemuning, inshallah. Okay. Yeah. So they are also doing a lot on mechatronics, Industry 4.0, IoT, and also hydraulics. Another one is actually in Malacca. It's a public university called UTEM, University Technical Malaysia Malacca.
Okay.
So yeah, they are also doing a lot of training to the industry and to their own students on hydraulic technology. Yeah.
So this program is launched last year.
Actually, it has been since I can say it started with the hydraulics certification program. I think it started in 2013. This is where we established first in 2014 these training partners for hydraulics, and it was last year that we also had Kismet as our first Industry 4.0 mechatronics as our training partner. Yeah, so I think in this case we are looking to expand this, because certain